G'day folks, I'm back again. I've just come back from a nice little trip away. We took Rosie the van, and I must show you that bit actually, inside of it. Haven't finished but getting close. Well, we went away in it for the first time. It was our first big trip away. It took us around 3.5 hours to get to our destination, but we didn't rush. But we went up the northwest coast of Tasmania, and it is some of the most stunning coastline. And in from the coast, we've got farming land it's just unbelievable. It really is. The soil is red, so fertile. They grow amazing produce up that way, and the weather was just beautiful. Oh, it was stunning, you know, it blew our minds. And we cruised on up there and stayed with my son for the night, and we cruised on back again and had lunch at a beautiful little spot called Boat Harbour. And we dropped into a few other spots on the way through, and I got the wife out and she sat in a chair and got her in the sand, her feet in the sand, and grounded into the earth, and she had a time of her life. It was we just loved it. It was just fantastic. And all it cost us was a bit of diesel in the tank, and we had a blast. It's awesome. So I can't wait to do it again, you know. Maybe stay 2 nights in it. So I loved it. It was great. Well, we've got it all pulled apart, the bottom end, and yeah, it's great news. It's great news, really. We had a couple of issues. I found, well, I'll show you this first, on the bearings, on the conrods. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 5 must have copped a little bit of material in because we did the oil mod on it, and it hasn't been pulled apart since then. I reckon it's got a little bit of scorf or something in it, and it's scored this bearing, but it hasn't hurt the journal at all. So we've got a score in it. But the rest of them, like as far as wear goes, it's minimal. It's minimal wear. 6 and 7, so we've got 6 and 7, which is the reason I did the oiling mod, was for these two rods, and they're in great shape. So it's all in great shape, bar this bearing where it copped a little bit of scorf or something in it. So I think I've got another couple of bearings so I can swap them out. But the crank's in incredible shape. Oh yeah, I will mention too, I don't know which one it was. I haven't moved the rings, but I've noticed on one of the pistons, the gaps, the top and the bottom on the compression ring were lined up. So I don't know what happened there. I make an effort to clock them, so whether they're fluttered around and lined up. But that was the only one. It was one of them. I don't know which one it was, to be honest. But they're in good shape. There's no tightness or anything in the gudgeons. They're all nice and loose. So here's my main bearings. We've got I did notice though, just on one side there, they've just sort of, yeah. But it's only just taken that little bit of facing off the coating on the bearing. It hasn't marked anything, and there's nothing when you scratch your finger in it. They still look good to me. I'll stick with those. It's just a pull down and an inspection. That's all it really is, and I'm stoked with all this so far. The crank's in good shape. Nothing wrong with the crank. There's no marks in it, or nothing that you can feel. I mean, we've got really, I can't feel it through there. Happy with that. The thrust, there's hardly any wear on it. It's in great condition. It's nice to know now that we've sorted out the thrust issue. But here's the big one, the rear main seal. I found the leak, and I'll be honest with you, it's leaked the day I put it in. Now, I thought it was my fault because, well, I still don't know, but these were sticking out ever so slightly, you know, just 4 or 5 thou out of the registers. And when you clamp it down, there's actually a gap in top and bottom in the two splits. Yet when you measure this one up, it's a lot more snug on the crank. And I've verified this with my other crank, as in sizings, and actually this one's a few thou thicker. Not as so. That's where it's been leaking, the top and the bottom, just drizzling out. I'll set the camera up and I'll show you the difference. It's unbelievable. We've got a little light there. Look at that, just came on. All right, I'll do here's the new one that I haven't used yet. Just mocked it up, but you can see it's tight. It's just a nice snug fit in there. And then when I do this one that I pulled out, it's look at a huge gap. Look at that. And that's about the gap of the crank. So there's nearly a millimetre, a good mil of gap there. And the one here, it's beautiful. It's how you want it. It's round. This one's okay this way. Yeah. Oh, well, even that's only just. But it's terrible this way. And it doesn't look worn. I think it was like that from the word go. So I think that was a faulty seal. And that's what I'm putting it down to. This one here is perfect. It's nice and firm around the crank, and there's no movement. So I'm happy with that. So we'll use this one and move forward. The block's good. Nothing wrong with the block. Cam bearings are all good. Everything looks good in it. I gave it a good clean. There's a bit of scoring in the bores. Bit of skirt wear there. You've got to expect that. It's been honed out. But look, for what I needed, it's in good condition still. It's fantastic. So I'm real stoked with that one. I can put it back together confidently now and fix the leak in it and move forward. It'll be great. I got a crowd to do some little modifications to the manifold, inlet manifold. I ran lines from the back of the ports and I ran them into the front here. I'm actually going to do away with it, to be honest. Not that I'm not a believer in it. It does work, but I don't feel that I need to run it. Being on E85 and after my gut feeling, I had a look in the chambers in the tops of the head. I don't look, the little bit of air pocketing in there for me, I'm not really worried about it. So I got it welded up, and I got that one welded up down there. And I'll sand them down nice and smooth. It just makes it look a little bit cleaner. And I've got my timing case. I've got a little bit of weld done on the fuel pump block there, where you mount the factory fuel pump up. Rather than buy a plate and bolt it to it, I thought I'd get that welded and I'll finish sand it all back nice and run with that. I've got my gasket kit Velcro gasket. That was $95. And this time round I thought I might try a one-piece rubber gasket, pan gasket. Yeah, I'll give that a go. I've heard a few good reviews and raves about them. Everyone seems to think they're the best thing out there. So I got that and I'll try it. And I got some 3-bond liquid gasket, grey solventless silicone. So I'll give that a go as well, rather than just not use the roof and gutter silicone that I've been using. And I didn't want to use T-Rex on it. T-Rex would be unbelievable, but trust me, it is a nightmare to get off. I put a little bit round here. I had a little leak in that, and it turned out it was buckled. And I'd flattened it off, but I'd used a bit of T-Rex, and I ended up, look, you can almost see it there. I damaged it a little bit trying to get it off. So it holds. It'll be brutal stuff to get off, but man, it seals. It is good stuff. Oil doesn't worry it. Yeah, it's great. Well, guys, while I'm here, I may as well show you the van. Get the lights on. There we go. Beautiful. So we've got the sink up and running. I can't even remember the last time with the update. Oh, that's right, I had all that open in there last time. Well, I closed it all up with the diesel heater vent down in there. We've got the wheel arch sneaking sort of across, through to here. That's all been foamed out. We've got a nice panel, and that's actually deliberate. Focus. That's deliberate. That's a little bit of foam, that top green part along there. That's to recirculate the air for the diesel heater, so I ended up doing that. Put a little switch in for the water pump. This is great. This is a good thing, this. This is just so good. It's so warm. It's so cozy. It's our little Rosie. Little weather station. 11 degrees outside, 12 degrees inside. Yeah, that's a little bench up there. And with the bench there for the wife with a little wheelchair. Electric wheelchair she can move around. It's great. And there's the door we put in. That's awesome. That is so cool. I love it. This is probably one of the my favourite little ideas. Be able to just jump in and out through the cab. It's terrific. We've just got a little swivel, simple, and close it from this side. We leave it open when we're driving around. We don't bother closing it. But if it's a really cold night, we close the door here on that because we don't want to be heating up the cab, and what happens is the glass will end up sweating. So we end up just leaving it closed. I cut the back off the seat. Still got the nice single seat there, but we've got that, and I can just put my knee on it and just hop through to the cab. It's just so easy and nice. I love it. I love it. Obviously we've still got the shower to finish off. I've got the gas bottles to hook up, just to finish that off for the shower, for the hot water, and some floor coverings, and a set of drawers in there, and some cupboard doors, maybe a little shelf in there or whatever. And I'm thinking of leaving that open just for the moment. Yeah, I haven't sort of thought about that far, what to do there, because I know doors are annoying, because I know the fridge door it's not annoying, but I rather like it without doors, especially in that little part there. It'll be handy to have a set of drawers in here and a couple of little doors down below. I could live with that. And a little drawer there, and just a panel to finish off. But it's great, I love it in here. The battery's awesome. The battery's set up with the solar panels, and I've got the charge off the engine, off the alternator too, back going into it when that's raining. So we're down to about 95-90%. I think it's the lowest we've got. Every time I check it, I still can't get that thing hooked up. That's actually supposed to monitor the battery, but for some reason I just can't get it to sink in there. So my son's got an app, and he checks it every time, and it's always up around sort of 90%. It was 99% actually when we were using it there when I visited him. So yeah, it's awesome. Alright guys, well that's my little update for now on what I've been up to. I'll tell you one thing before I go, and this will be very interesting. I got a letter the other day from the council, because we're having local council elections here, and now they're saying it's compulsory to vote. You know, this is just the hypocrisy of what the government are doing. They've got out of control. They're drunk on power, and they're enforcing everything they can on humanity. I mean, if you can't see that, well, good luck, because it's so obvious now what's being played out. The government basically don't give a shit about us, and it's all about control, and it's all about getting as much as they can out of us, restricting us down to nothing, making us feel worthless. Well, I'm not voting in this Meander Valley election, the local council election. I haven't voted for 3 years upon my awakening, and they can jam their fines where the sun don't shine. I've written letters back to them and replied and said that I'm not participating in your fraudulent system anymore. I'm a sovereign of the land, and I guide my own vessel around this earth. No one else has authority over me. So that's just my view on the government. They can go and get stuffed as far as I'm concerned. I'm not scared of them. My son met a fella, you know, it's interesting. He met a fella, this could cut out any moment, guys. Oh dear. I'm having bad memory issues with my phone. It wasn't the battery the other day, it's the memory on it. But anyway, if it cuts out, I'll carry on to the next video. But my son was talking to a fella that was travelling around, and he said that he hasn't got a licence nor registration on his vehicle that he travels around with, and they can't touch him. And I learnt this actually a little while ago, but this dude says if you get pulled up and you don't have a licence and that, he just tells him he's a sovereign of the land and he's travelling in private property. They can't touch him. They can't touch him because he hasn't signed into the system. And once we start to realise that we're signing up to this government corporation, we're giving our power away. So I thought that was very interesting, and I've been on a bit of a deep dive with it all. So I'm starting to understand that you don't need a license. I know it sounds crazy, and you call me crazy, but it's the truth. They don't have authority over you if you don't sign into their bullshit. And in actual fact, their governance is actually illegal itself, because they operate under admiralty law, law of the sea, and it has no effect on land. So when we start to, as humanity starts to discover the power within us and our own rights, then we're going to have a huge change. It's starting to happen now. People are starting to wake up to that. But it's time. It's really time we start taking back our sovereignty and not be bullied, coerced into certain things with the old shot in the arm. That's a disgusting thing they did to humanity on that one. It's a global thing. And we're seeing the repercussions now of it, which is tragic. It's very tragic. There's a lot being injured now, and people aren't talking about it, but they know deep, deep down in their soul that this thing's not a good thing. So I will talk about it in the next video, but I don't want to go too full on too soon, because it might freak a few out and whatever. I think just gently along the way will be the course of the as time goes on. All right, guys, I'm about to run out of gigabyte space. I've got nothing left. It's about to cut out, so I'll sort that out for next time. But we could do a longer video. I've got so much more to say about what's really happening in the world, and if you guys really want it, look, let me know, guys. I'll do a dedicated video on it, and because this is a topic that's not going to go away. The Great Awakening is happening. Don't miss it, guys. Get on board with it, and we'll get through it all together, and it'll be a good thing. All right, guys. She's about to go on me. I'll catch you later. I'll pop one up soon when I make a little bit more move on that engine. Happy days. Catch yous.